So, you're going to Capitol Reef. I am so excited for you. And today I want to share with you my 12 favorite things to do in Capitol Reef National Park. My name is Ash, and I'm a former park ranger and the founder of dirtinmyshoes. I am also a Utah native, and so I am in the Utah National Parks all the time. I know these parks so well, you can't keep me away. The cool thing, though, is that Capitol Reef is actually my favorite Utah park. I think it has the best elements of all the Utah parks, all mixed into this one small national park. And it's quieter, you can find more solitude, you can have a more rugged experience while still seeing some really cool things. I am really excited to share with you the things that I think you shouldn't miss on your first visit to Capitol Reef. Capitol Reef is an interesting park because it is long and narrow. And so you can see here on the map here, it's just like, woohoo. Goes all the way down there. And you really only have a little bit of pavement within the national park. So you can see you have this one road that cuts through and then one road that goes down a little bit. And that's it. So it makes for a very interesting adventure and a very interesting layout for actually seeing this national park and getting to all the can't miss activities. Okay, so the first thing you don't want to miss is Hickman Bridge. Hickman Bridge is a really spectacular arch. It's about 133 feet wide. It's huge, and you can hike to it and hike under it and really marvel at it up close. And as I mentioned before, Capitol Reef kind of has elements of other national parks. So you might be surprised to find an arch here, but it's here. You don't have to go all the way to Arches to see one. So it's really cool that you can hike to this one. It's just shy of a 2-mile hike in and out to get to this beautiful natural arch. Hickman Bridge is found in this area of the park right here. This is the main popular area of the park. And so here's the inset here. You can see we have like the visitor center and the campground and everything right in here. But if you don't turn into there and you keep going on the main highway, then you will reach the Hickman Bridge parking area right down here. Number 2, Panorama Point. This is a gorgeous overlook, easy to get to, very short walk to the overlook, but it is absolutely gorgeous because what makes Capitol Reef so cool is that it encompasses and protects this area called the Water Pocket Fold. And it's basically just a fold in the Earth's crust that makes for really cool pictures and something that you probably have never seen before. And you can get a great view of the Water Pocket Fold and what it looks like and how amazing it is here at Panorama Point. You'll find Panorama Point just right off the main highway here as you're driving into the park. You'll see the pullout right here. Number 3, Goosenecks Overlook. So this is a really cool viewpoint as well. You're actually on top looking down into the canyon that was carved by Sulphur Creek. And it's a really narrow slot canyon in this area. So you're just peering down, trying to see the bottom of the canyon, which is super cool and definitely worth a stop. Goosenecks Overlook is just right here by Panorama Point. You'll just drive a little bit further, and then it does require about a 0.2-mile walk there and back to get to the edge of the cliff to look down towards the bottom of the canyon. Number 4, Sunset Point Trail. This is a really beautiful trail, again, giving you just gorgeous views of the Water Pocket Fold, which is what makes Capitol Reef so cool. I love this trail for its namesake, Sunset Point. It is beautiful at sunset. It's a really nice place to be, to really take in those dark skies, beautiful sunsets, gorgeous red rock, and have some solitude along the way. This trail starts at the same parking area as the Goosenecks Overlook. You'll take a different trail. You'll park in the same spot, but take a different trail to get out to Sunset Point. It's about 0.8 miles round trip. Not a very long trail. Very little shade on this one, though, so that's why it is nice to go maybe later in the evening and enjoy the sunset from here. Number 5, Historic Fruita. So this national park actually has a really cool history and it is still well protected, and you can see just how beautiful and how much of an oasis this area was for the Mormon pioneers who came in the 1880s and settled the Fruita area. And so there's an old schoolhouse you can see. You can go to the Gifford House, which sells pies as a nod to that pioneer heritage. They are the best pies. They are so good. I get one a day when I'm in Capitol Reef at least. So definitely make sure you do that. But then you can also walk through the orchards that the pioneers planted when they first settled here. And that's why it's called Fruita. It's an oasis. It has so many fruit trees. If you time it right, you can actually pick the fruit from the trees and take some home with you. But it's just a really beautiful area with a nice history. So historic Fruita is this area right in here. So again, looking at the inset here, as you drive in past the visitor center, this is where you'll hit like all these orchards right here, up here and over here, next to the Fremont River. And so it's just really lush and green. It looks much different than a lot of the rest of the park. You've got the red rocks surrounding it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. But as I said, make sure you stop in the Gifford House for pie. You've got the blacksmith shop. You've got the schoolhouse over here. And then all the orchards kind of weaving in and out between those things. Even though Capitol Reef is a small national park, that doesn't mean that it doesn't get busy or that there aren't areas where you're not going to be able to get parking. They do sell a lot of pies. There are trails that do fill up that you will have to circle parking lots for, unless you have a really good plan to see all of these things so that you can avoid those crowds and so that you can feel the solitude that's awaiting you in Capitol Reef National Park. If you want my help navigating the park, click over to Dirt in My Shoes and grab the Capitol Reef itinerary. I will link it below this video, but I will talk you through the timing of getting to all of these places, of making sure that you're able to get parking, of helping you see the best sites and make sure you don't miss anything important. And I will help you through every step of the way with lots of extra guides. There is a secret hike that you might want to do when you're in Capitol Reef. I have walkthrough videos. All of this you can get on Dirt in My Shoes so that you make the most of the time that you have. Okay, number 6 is to drive a back road. So if you have time and you can bring a Jeep or rent a Jeep or you have a high clearance vehicle, there are some really cool things that you can do in Capitol Reef that I think really make the experience, because this park is so much more than just the paved roads. There are a lot of dirt roads that you can drive, and here are 2 of my favorites. Okay, so looking at the map, this is one that I just absolutely cannot sing its praises enough. This is the Cathedral Valley Loop, and so it actually starts outside of the national park. And this road can be hairy. There's a lot of sand, and so that can make it hard. And then there are some areas where you definitely will need 4-wheel drive. But as you're going back up and through here, then you're going to come back into the park up here at the very top and go through Cathedral Valley, which just has these gorgeous red rock monoliths that just jut out of the desert. It is absolutely stunning and well worth your day of driving to get back here. The other road I recommend looking into is south of the main stuff in the park. So you're going to drive all the way down here. Remember, I told you it's a very long national park, but you're coming down here and you're driving the Burr Trail, and it just cuts into the park for a minute here, but holy cow, it's absolutely spectacular through here as you drive across the Water Pocket Fold. So we like going up into Strike Valley up here. You definitely need 4-wheel drive to get back here. And then you can drive through the Burr Trail switchbacks, which just totally disorients you as you're driving down that Water Pocket Fold that is so unique and so strange. So it's really cool. And then you come back down here and you hit the Nodum Bullfrog Road and drive up along the Water Pocket Fold all the way up here till you make it back to the main park road. Both of those drives are absolutely incredible. I don't know that I could pick a favorite between the 2, but probably Cathedral Valley. I, for the longest time, just really wanted to get back in there to see it because I had seen pictures for so long. And when we finally did make it back in there, it did not disappoint. It was so stunning. So it's an area of the park that I just can't stay away from anymore. So I do love that one, but you can't go wrong with either drive. Number 7 is the Scenic Drive. This is one of the 2 paved roads through the park, so you're definitely going to want to drive here. It's not very long. It's only about 8 miles, but it takes you through some of the most spectacular scenery you'll find in Capitol Reef, and it also takes you to some of my favorite trails and viewpoints. So the scenic drive it cuts off the main highway here and goes down along the water pocket fold on this side. One of those trails that you'll find along the scenic drive is number 8, the Cassidy Arch Trail. I love this trail. I have hiked this trail so many times. It is challenging. It's not an easy trail because you are working your way up the side of the cliffs to get to the top, where you then go across the slick rock until you see Cassidy Arch, but you're actually standing on top of it looking down, which is really cool. If you're super adventurous, you can go walk out on top of the arch. Otherwise, you can stay on the edge and look down into the abyss that this arch has created. So you'll find the trailhead to Cassidy Arch off the Grand Wash Road here that goes off the scenic drive. So you'll park there and then you'll hike to Cassidy Arch from there. It's about 3.5 miles round trip. And again, you're working your way up the cliffs. So it's not easy, but it's definitely worth it. Number 9 is Capitol Gorge, and this is just right off the scenic drive as well. It's a dirt road that goes through the monoliths here, and you're just surrounded on all sides by this beautiful red rock and the slick rock, and it's just a really cool experience to drive through here. It does get very narrow. It's pretty good for most vehicles, so you should be okay there as long as there hasn't been a big storm or flash flood coming through this area. And that's another thing to keep in mind as you're driving through here. You are not going to want to enter Capitol Gorge if there is any threat of a flash flood in the area at the time. So do keep an eye on that. But otherwise, you'll drive this gorgeous road and just enjoy all of the beautiful scenery surrounding you. You'll find Capitol Gorge at the very end of the scenic drive here. So the pavement will end and then you'll turn off and drive through a portion of the water pocket fold. And that's what gives you that slot canyon feel as you're driving through here, as you're working your way through this just very strange anomaly in the Earth's crust. And you'll see things like the Golden Throne. When you get to the end, there is the opportunity to hike. But you don't have to. If you don't want to hike, just make the drive. It's gorgeous as is. You don't need to hike to enjoy it. So the hike I'm referring to at the end of Capitol Gorge is number 10, the Pioneer Register Trail. And this is an area where the Mormon pioneers who settled the Capitol Reef area would use Capitol Gorge as their throughway to get from one side of the water pocket fold to the other. And so as you're hiking through here, you can see where they have scratched their names into the rocks. You can see they left their mark here to let us know that this was a throughway for them. This is something that they used. Now, they're not the only ones who left marks through here. You can also find petroglyphs as you're doing this trail. So very, very cool. It's kind of like a game of I Spy where you're just looking up the cliffs as you walk and seeing what you can see. It's less than a mile to get to the Pioneer Register and back to the Capitol Gorge parking. So again, you'll come down here to the end of the scenic drive. You'll go on the Capitol Gorge Road. You'll park at the end here, and then you'll just walk through the gorge for a little less than a half a mile to reach the main names, the main things that you'll want to see along here. You can continue along further to the tanks. I don't usually do that. Usually we just like to see the register and then go back. Now, just because they left their names on the rocks does not mean that you should. So it is a federal offense to scratch your name into the rocks. So please don't do that. Just enjoy what was left behind by these pioneers 150 years ago. Speaking of scratching things into rocks, you'll definitely want to stop by number 11, the Petroglyph Panel. I love petroglyphs. It's one of my favorite things to see when I'm out exploring. And so Capitol Reef has some really cool panels of petroglyphs that are easy to get to. All you need to do is just walk along a short boardwalk and look up to the cliffs. You can see bighorn sheep, you can see warriors, you can see all sorts of things etched into the rocks by these native people. You'll find the Petroglyph Panel in the Fruita Historic District area, staying along the main highway. It's just a little pull out right here. And there's two different boardwalks. The one that's like kind of straight ahead is the shortest and easiest. And then there's a longer one that goes along the road here. And that one is a little bit harder to see the petroglyphs, but much quieter and a cool game of I Spy. One more hiking trail for you. You know, I love to hike. So number 12 is the Cohab Canyon Trail. This is a trail that takes you up to just spectacular views of the historic Fruita area. So you're seeing those orchards, you're seeing the river, everything from above looking down, and then you have the water pocket fold views that just go on for miles beyond. So it's absolutely spectacular. The other cool thing about this trail is there are some little slot canyons that you can explore. They don't usually go very far, but that's really fun, especially if you have younger kids who like to safely explore things like that. So we love this one. I will say the switchbacks at the beginning scare most people off. And so it's a fairly quiet trail, but it is a challenge to get up those switchbacks and up out of the canyon up to the top, where then you have those beautiful views. But in my opinion, it's absolutely worth it. It's a really fun trail to do and a good way to spend your time. So you'll see the Cohab Canyon Trail over here. It actually starts really close to the campground, goes up the cliffs, and then goes up in here. When you're up in here, you can then decide to connect it to another trail. Sometimes I do that, but a lot of times I'll just go up here. This is kind of where the slot canyons are that you can explore, and then the beautiful viewpoints are out here. So it's about 3.5 miles to do that and to just go back down the way you came. And I love it, especially when I want to hit the trail. All right, 12 amazing things to do in Capitol Reef. Are you so excited? I can't wait for you to go. Be sure to click over to Dirt in My Shoes and get your Capitol Reef itinerary, where I show you how to get to all of these things, how much time it will take, how to avoid the crowds. All of that is on Dirt in My Shoes. And I have more Capitol Reef videos for you, so be sure to subscribe and watch those as you make your preparations for visiting this beautiful national park. Happy trails.